Hi class. So today we are going to start how to write body. That means actual essay writing we are going to see from today. So we have seen what is the meaning of good introduction, good conclusion, good body. And now we are going to enter into the core area of essay writing. And as I told in the first class, the biggest problem when someone attempts this paper, the biggest problem of this essay is that students know everything. They have a lot of knowledge, they have a lot of ideas, but the biggest challenge and the big challenge is how to arrange the ideas in a particular fashion and how to know what to write and what not to write, especially when the lecture is of 1000 to 1200 words. That's a big challenge. Fine. So if you listen to any topper, if you see a lot of books are there in the market for essay, then they will tell you that there are multiple approaches to write essay. That's very correct. There are multiple ways to write essay, and different toppers they have different strategy, and it also depend on the topic. कौन सा टॉपिक आपको मिला है उस पर डिसाइड होगा कि आप essay के किस अप्रोच को यहाँ पर जो है यूज करने के लिए जा रहे हैं. But more or less based on my experience, based on what I have seen till now that people use the strategy, the calculation to write an essay, we are going to discuss few very important strategy, few very important tools by use of which you can write a good essay and by the use of which you can fill the pages of 1200 to 1500 words without any hesitation, without any interruption. So today we will discuss the first approach to write essay. The first approach, that means why I am discussing this as a first approach, because this approach is the most popular, most simplest approach. किसी भी बच्चे को essay राइटिंग में कुछ आता हो नहीं आता हो, ये अप्रोच सबको आएगा और ये अप्रोच लगभग सारे टॉपिक में आपके काम करता है. You choose any topic, this approach is going to work, and that's why majority of the students will use this approach only, which is very simple approach. This is nothing but as I told you, essay में हमें करना क्या है, एक पैरा तो चला गया इंट्रोडक्शन में, एक पैरा चला गया कंक्लूजन में, अब इसके अलावा लगभग 8 से 12 पैरा आपको चाहिए. दैट मीन्स यू नीड टू राइट ऑन 8 to 12 डायमेंशंस, 8 to 12 पर्सपेक्टिव. 8 से 12 पर्सपेक्टिव आपके पास आ गए तो आप ऐसे को लिख सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू हैव टू राइट एन एसे ऑन साउथ एशिया पॉलिटिक्स. साउथ एशिया की पॉलिटिक्स में आपको किसी ने बोल दिया ऐसे लिखो, एक पैरा आपने इंडिया पे लिख दिया, एक पैरा अफगानिस्तान पे लिख दिया, एक पाकिस्तान पे, एक श्रीलंका पे. इस तरीके से अगर कंट्री वाइज आपने डिवाइड कर दिया तो ऐसे कितना आसान हो जाता है. ऐसे सुनने में लगता है साउथ एशिया पॉलिटिक्स इतने सारे कंट्रीज है, किसको लिखे किसको नहीं लिखे, लेकिन जहां आपने कंट्रीज में ब्रेक किया तो चीजें आपकी तुरंत आसान हो जाती है. वही यहां पर करना है. यहां पर जो है आपको किसी भी ऐसे को कुछ डायमेंशंस में आपको ब्रेक कर लेना है और उसके बाद हर डायमेंशन में एक पैरा, डेढ़ पैरा आप लिखेंगे तो बहुत आसानी से आपका इसे खत्म भी हो जाएगा. बहुत सारे पर्सपेक्टिव का भी हम डिस्कशन कर लेंगे और बहुत आसानी से पूरे ऐसे को हम क्या कर सकते हैं, कंप्लीट कर सकते हैं. सो लेट अस टेक वन एग्जांपल. से फॉर एग्जांपल आई गिव यू एन ऐसे टॉपिक, कास्ट सिस्टम गुड और बैड. कास्ट अच्छा है या बुरा है, सिंपल आपका ऐसे का टॉपिक है. अब इसको ब्रेक कर लेते हैं. लेट अस फर्स्ट डिस्कस सोशल डायमेंशन ऑफ कास्ट. So when we say social dimension, that means social discrimination, the discrimination of Dalit community, that is in caste, social division, social stratification, social hierarchy. Fine. Caste में किस तरह से marriages decide होते हैं. Caste is a system where you cannot escape, and that is on the basis of birth. ये social dimension हो गया. Political dimension हम discuss कर सकते हैं caste का. Political dimension कैसे? On the basis of caste, only politician, political party, they try to mobilize people. There are a lot of political issues based on the basis of caste. Take for example recent case of UGC, recent guideline by UGC. So a lot of backlash, a lot of support also was there because of that case. So that's a political dimension. The reservation on the basis of caste, that's again a political dimension. We can discuss economic dimension also because caste has some relation with occupation also. There are some castes in India who you can see they are known as business class, so they have control over the economics. Fine. Some castes have control over land, so land can be attached to that. We can discuss historical dimension of caste. So caste has relation with history. So first there was Varna system, Then British came and British brought caste into mainstream politics. So Mandal politics we can discuss. Fine. So a lot of things from the history we can discuss. We can discuss international dimension also. So a lot of news come from international era, that in United Nations so and so called politician or some member of parliament, they raised an issue that a discrimination like caste is there in India. So that has to be brought within human rights violation. We can discuss psychological dimension of caste also. So psychological dimension, that means some caste they will say that we are from dominant caste, or some caste they feel inferiority complex. So that's a psychological dimension is also there. We can discuss geographical dimension also. Some caste they are concentrated in few pockets of our country in more number. Some caste they will have less number. Caste migration that we can see. Fine. So we can discuss geographical dimension also. Technological dimension also we can discuss in caste. How come technological dimension? So recently when UGC came with guidelines related to caste politics, so there was lot of debate, discussion, okay, dissent on social media. People were using technology to present their case that this particular guideline by UGC is bad or it is good. Both were using technology. So you can see, if this essay topic is with me, caste system good or bad, and if I think that how to write this such a big topic, then it will be a very big problem. But when I distribute this topic, when I cut this topic into different dimensions, social, political, psychological, international, technological, economical, it makes my case very easy. Fine. Ethical dimension also we can discuss in caste, that we should not discriminate. This is a moral value system. All right. So in this way, this approach works. Simply take the topic, cut the topic into different dimensions, give 1 to 1.5 para to each dimension, and very easily without any interruption you can write a good essay. So let us take one example and we will see how to use this approach. So this is a question of UPSC and we are going to write essay on this topic. The question is the colonial mentality hindering India's success? It simply means the question is simply asking you to explain that how this colonial mentality, how this British mentality, it means how British people they have planted some mindset in our mind, and how that mindset, that ideology is creating an hindrance in India's success. That's a simple question. Now here we know a lot of things about British system, Western system. We know a lot of challenges on India's success, why India is not getting success, what are the challenges. But here we have to write this essay in 1500 words. So again, what I will do, I will divide this particular essay topic into multiple parts, multiple dimensions, multiple perspective. Political dimension, social dimension, historical dimension, international dimension, ethical dimension, psychological dimension, geographical dimension, and on each dimension we are going to give say 80 words or 120 words, and that will fulfill our purpose. All right. So let us see how we are going to discuss multiple perspective. So first we have geographical perspective. Why geographical dimension is there? That means you have to discuss, you have to link geography in what mindset of Britain and how that is creating a challenge or hindrance in India's success. Say for example, geographical perspective. So what British people did, they focused the entire development strategy only in few pockets of India, like port cities, Chennai, Kolkata, Mumbai. So they were very much interested in port cities only. And today this has created a kind of imbalance, regional imbalance throughout the country. So some states are very developed, some states are not so developed. And so when we discuss regional imbalance, when we discuss uneven development, that's a challenge in India's success. And that is because of British mentality. We can elaborate that. All right. We can also discuss exploitation of natural resources. So British were very much interested in natural resources and their motive was only and only exploitation. So what we see today, the exploitation of mineral mines in states like Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, they all were started during the British period. Fine. So when you see some railway stations, some development in mining areas, then you can link that those mining areas have some relation with British mindset. And what was the mindset? They were not interested in the development of that particular area, but they were interested only in the extraction of mining, and that has created a kind of challenge in what India's success. Then we can discuss social dimension. Obviously, social dimension. Hindi English language division. This is the biggest division. So you people are aspirant of UPSC and you know it very well that the division between English and Hindi is a very prominent division. In UPSC also, people often think that why that we feel that UPSC as an examination body is little biased towards English medium. You can see some good newspapers, some good books, they are originally written in English only. So obviously this mindset has created a kind of biasness. Then vague definition of tribes. All right, what is the meaning of vague definition of tribes? So today we can see that there are a lot of problems in our country related to tribal community. All right, and in that particular problem, the biggest issue is definition related to tribe. Who is a tribe? It's a big question. So when British introduced this definition of tribe, they went for very vague parameter. They went for very loose parameter, like जो लोग पहाड़ों में रहते हैं, जंगलों में रहते हैं, जो लोग हिंदू कास्ट सिस्टम में नहीं आते, इस तरह से कुछ कुछ पैरामीटर्स लेकर उन्होंने ट्राइबल्स को डिफाइन किया. एंड स्टिल टुडे वी फेस all the issues related to tribe. Why? Because definition issue was there with British people. Similarly, they notified some tribes as criminal tribe. So आज तक वो stereotype क्या होता है वो चल ही रहा है. Then in social dimension we can discuss about family system, breakdown of family system. So India was a country of joint family system always, but during advent of British people, the mushrooming of breakdown of family system started, and an emergence of nuclear family system was there from the British time only. Then we can very easily discuss this thing, what is divide and rule. So during the revolution of 1857, after that revolution, British started the mindset of what divide and rule. आज तक हिंदू मुस्लिम का जो इशू शुरू हुआ था ब्रिटिश के टाइम पे, आज तक वो चलता ही रह रहा है. एंड दैट ऑल्सो हेल्प इन क्रिएशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान. Religious conversion, that we can discuss during British period. Missionary, they were quite active in religious conversion. Then we can discuss political dimension. Obviously, what is political dimension? Still India is under hangover of British administrative system. So our constitution, our Indian constitution, that was heavily biased, or it was infused by which act? Government of India Act 1935. सबसे ज़्यादा, in fact, अगर आप कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का क्रिटिसिज्म पढ़ेंगे तो लोग ये भी कहते हैं कि इट वाज लाइक रेप्लिका ऑफ गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट 1935 व्हिच वाज मेड बाय ब्रिटिश पीपल. सो ऑब्वियसली दैट हैज लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज. देन ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट्री सिस्टम. सो ब्रिटेन में प्राइम मिनिस्टर और क्वीन का कॉन्सेप्ट था, इंडिया में हमने उसको कॉपी किया तो यहाँ पर एक प्रेसिडेंट का सिस्टम आ गया. कई लोग अभी जब बातें करते हैं, लेट अस एबॉलिश दिस प्रेसिडेंशियल सिस्टम बिकॉज इट इज एन आउटडेटेड सिस्टम एंड दैट सिस्टम वाज गिवन टू अस बाय ब्रिटिश पीपल. ऑलराइट, स्वास्थ्य ये चलता रहा. आउटडेटेड ब्यूरोक्रेटिक स्ट्रक्चर वी कैन डिस्कस. सो स्टिल लॉट ऑफ रिफॉर्म्स आर गोइंग ऑन इन ब्यूरोक्रेसी, एंड व्हेनेवर यू रीड एनी काइंड ऑफ रिफॉर्म्स, वी विल लिंक all the reforms or the outdated or the inertia and bureaucratic inertia from Britain only. That Britain only, British people, they only infuse this inertia, bureaucratic inertia, जो काम नहीं करने का जो रहता है, ये उसी समय से इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है. ओके. देन आउटडेटेड लॉ सिस्टम, जूरिस्प्रूडेंस, जिसको हमने अभी अभी रिप्लेस किया है, आउटडेटेड लेबर कोड, ये सब हम किस में डिस्कस कर सकते हैं? पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम में. देन साइकोलॉजिकल. ऑब्वियसली इन साइकोलॉजिकल द बेस्ट we can discuss is white man burden. So British, when they came to our country, they thought that it is not an easy task to control such a vast country, such a big country, especially when country is such a diversified in terms of language, religion, ethnicity. So they introduced the concept of white man's burden in implied form. Fine. So ऐसा एक थ्योरी बनाया गया कि जो इंडियंस हैं उनको ऐसा लग जाए कि नहीं नहीं ब्रिटिश की हमें ज़रूरत है, वो हमारे कंट्री में आया तो अच्छा है, और लोग ताकि स्लेवरी को आसानी से क्या कर ले, एक्सेप्ट कर ले. सो स्टिल वी कैन, तो उस टाइम आप याद कीजिए जिस समय ब्रिटेन के लोग आए थे, वाइट मैन बर्डन ही था. व्हेन इट वाज कंसिडर्ड ग्रेट जॉब. कुछ लोग जब ब्रिटेन में काम करते थे ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट के लिए एज अ ब्यूरोक्रेट या फिर जुडिशरी सिस्टम में, सो दे वुड फील प्राइड दैट वी आर सर्वेंट ऑफ ब्रिटेन. फाइन, लंदन जाके पढ़ना एक बहुत बड़ी बात होती थी, आज भी बहुत बड़ी बात है. So this is a kind of psychological influence, psychological definition, and that is creating a kind of hindrance. Fine. So we are unable to find our own Indian value system, and when we are unable to find our own Indian value system, obviously we cannot think anything which is beyond this Western mindset, beyond this British mindset, and that is creating a kind of hindrance in India's success. Then ethical, obviously, when we India is a country which is known for rich Indian value system, especially rich moral value system, where we have expertise over what is right or what is wrong. Take our religious practices, take our religious texts. They all are filled with what is right and what is wrong, the concept of dharma. But during when British came, so they introduced the English language, and now that Indian value system, that moral value system is in complete collapse stage, is in completely breakdown stage. And slowly, many universities or many we can say education verticals, they are now slowly picking up this lost moral value system. Then we can discuss historical dimension. Historical dimension, it simply means you just need to discuss how British, they exploited our country for 200 years. That's historical dimension. Then we can discuss here international dimension. How come international dimension? Because when India got independence, fine. So the global image of India, the path which was taken by India in international forum, that was all decided by British, or at least we can say British mindset. So India became a member of Commonwealth. It was again fueled by British mindset. India became the part of NAB, non-aligned movement. Again, that was because of British mindset. So for a very long period of time, foreign policy of India or the niche of India in international politics, that was decided by Western philosophy only, Westernization politics only, and that created a kind of hindrance in India. For example, in India, in international politics, whatever problem that India faced with respect to Pakistan or with respect to then Bangladesh, so that has some kind of relation with the British historical period itself. Then we can discuss economical dimension. Lot of things are to discuss here. How British, they exploited economically India. Fine, यहाँ के industries को कैसे बर्बाद कर दिया, traditional industries को, cotton industry, jute industry, यहाँ के traditional industries को, and how all the benefit that went to London only, to Britain only. So these are the things we can discuss in economic exploration. So you can see that by use of such dimension, by use of so many dimensions, we have simply discussed, and I have not discussed everything. That means in psychological dimension, you can discuss other things also. In psychological dimension, for example, I have discussed only Weitzman burden. But in psychological dimension, you can also discuss ideological, psychological influence or domination of English language, Western culture. But the point I am trying to make here is that when you are good in breaking an essay into multiple parts, multiple dimensions, then it's a very easy task to complete your essay. Now, one question that comes in our mind, how are we going to get so much stuff in these dimensions? It's very easy. When you complete the syllabus of UPSC, you will study society, you will study international politics, you will study geography, you will study ethics. So when you complete the syllabus of UPSC, then you are present with lot of stuffs, lot of things on the basis of which you can very easily write at least one paragraph. Is a very good, easy job to explain here. And when you will try this strategy at your home, by writing any essay, by writing any topic, you will feel that this is a very easy approach to write. Alright. So first dimension is to write an essay by breaking that into multiple perspectives. Now let us see the second dimension. Second approach. In second approach, what we do, in this approach, we simply take a topic and we discuss that topic in terms of evolution. हम उस टॉपिक को टाइम के टर्म्स में धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे इवॉल्व हुआ उसको डिस्कस करते जाते हैं, एंड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस वी राइट एन एसे. यू टेक एनी एग्जांपल, say for example artificial intelligence, good or bad. So you start with evolution of technology, how artificial intelligence previously was used just for translation, then it went for video, then it went for creation of animation, then it went for sound technology. You just have to discuss everything in the frame of time. Caste system good or bad, just start discussing. Previously it was varna system, British came, धीरे 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 कास्ट कैसे डाइल्यूट हो रहा है, हाउ कास्ट इज बीइंग रिप्लेस्ड बाय class system. So any topic you choose, you just discuss the evolution of time in a chronological manner and you will write a good essay. You won't feel any pain in writing 1000 words to 1200 words. So let us take an example of this particular essay topic, cooperative feudalism, myth or reality. So this is a topic and we are going to discuss this topic in terms of evolution. Alright, so evolution of what? Evolution of the term feudalism. So let us discuss first British era. So when British era was there, what we can write about feudalism? Obviously we can start with Government of India Act 1919, where there was concept of double government or diarchy. Then we had Government of India Act 1935, where there was concept of थ्री हेड्स, तीन वहां पर हेड्स थे जो कि आज भी है, फाइन, फेडरल हेड, प्रोविंशियल हेड एंड कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट. देन वी कैन डिस्कस हाउ द रिलेशन ऑफ ब्रिटिश इंडिया वाज डिफरेंट विद प्रोविंशियल गवर्नमेंट एंड प्रिंसली स्टेट्स. सो इट वाज अ काइंड ऑफ अ यूनिक फेडरल सिस्टम. लाइक आज हम देखते हैं यूनियन टेरिटरी से जो हमारा रिलेशन है, इसको हम क्या कर सकते हैं, वी कैन डिस्कस दिस. वी कैन ऑल्सो डिस्कस ड्यूरिंग ब्रिटिश पीरियड हाउ ब्रिटिश हैड डिफरेंट रिलेशन विद सम ऑफ द प्रोमिनेंट किंग्स. किंग्स तो बहुत थे, प्रिंसली स्टेट बहुत थे, बट कुछ जो प्रिंसली स्टेट्स है, कश्मीर हो गया, हैदराबाद हो गया, इनके साथ उनका रिलेशन कैसा यूनिक था, इन चीज को हम यहाँ पर क्या कर सकते हैं, लिख सकते हैं. सो दैट विल बी लाइक ट्रेस ऑफ दिस कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म. देन वी कैन कम टू Nehru. Fine. So during Nehru, there was a system called Congress system, the term coined by Rajni Kothari. What is that system? So as per Congress system, everything was under the control of Congress, be it state government, bureaucrats, business, political parties, politicians. So everything was Congress. So the fight would always take between one congressman with another congressman. So this system was known as Congress system. So obviously when Congress system was there, there were no issues related to feudalism. सारे स्टेट्स का सेंटर का रिलेशन कैसा था, बहुत अच्छा था, क्योंकि स्टेट्स में भी कांग्रेस की सरकार और सेंटर में भी कांग्रेस की सरकार. सो दिस वाज अ डिफरेंट केस ऑफ फेडरलिज्म. सो कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म वाज इन बिगेस्ट, वी कैन से, आइडियल फेज, राइट. देन केम द टाइम ऑफ इंदिरा गांधी. सो ड्यूरिंग इंदिरा गांधी there was breakdown in Congress system, and during Indira Gandhi the system was quite centralized. It was extreme centralized system, and we also saw the emergence of what emergency, national emergency, which was imposed. So all the state governments, they were dismissed. Frequent governor rule, frequent imposition of president rule was seen during Indira Gandhi government. Relation with Punjab is a very prominent one, Operation Blue Star and all. So after British and after Nehru, you can discuss Indira Gandhi period. Then you can discuss Rajiv Gandhi period. So it was believed that Rajiv Gandhi will bring a good cooperative federalism model, but again it was failed. Rajiv Gandhi also introduced a centralized system because he was very insecure because of his position. Fine. And there was also a term called musical chair cabinet, where he would frequently change his cabinet ministers. Fine, he would frequently change chief ministers. Why? Because of insecurity. So federalism was also not very mature. Then after Rajiv Gandhi, 1992 economic reforms came. So what economic reforms changed in the country? Economic reforms brought something we can call it economic federalism, fine, or competitive federalism, where states like Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, they benefited from this economic reforms. Liberalization came, private companies came as an investor. So obviously when private companies came in these states, bargaining power of states increased. अभी कोई किसी के पास में महाराष्ट्र किसी सीएम के पास है, किसी के पास में तमिलनाडु सीएम के पास, उनके पास बार्गेनिंग पावर बहुत ज़्यादा है, क्योंकि उनके पास क्या है, इकोनॉमिक्स उनके पास में है. सो फेडरलिज्म का क्या हो गया, चेंज हो गया फेस. देन देयर कम वाजपेयी. So during Vajpayee, coalition era started before Vajpayee. Vajpayee was the first prime minister who successfully ran a coalition party era for 5 years. Fine. And after Vajpayee, there came the time of Manmohan Singh. So NAC was their National Advisory Council. So वहाँ पर भी फेडरलिज्म का कॉन्सेप्ट बदल गया. कैसे बदल गया? Because in Vajpayee era and Manmohan Singh era, both were running coalition politics. So since there was coalition politics, तो जिन coalition उनके पार्टनर्स थे, उनके स्टेट्स के पास में बार्गेनिंग पावर जो बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया था. फाइन. सो वहाँ पर चीज़ें अलग हुई. अब उसके बाद हम कॉन्टेम्प्ररी को हम ले सकते हैं, मोदी एरा. फाइन. सो हियर देयर इज वन पार्टी डोमिनेंस इन आवर कंट्री एंड देयर आर फ्यू ऑपोजिशन parties also in some of the states like Jharkhand, then Karnataka, then West Bengal. So you can see the relationship of federalism has changed. Relationship of center with Andhra Pradesh is totally different from that of West Bengal. And today a concept of competitive federalism is very prominent. Why competitive federalism? Because some of the states, they are attracting more investment. Fine. And in fact, some of the states, they are demanding investment from World Bank or from companies by bypassing center. They are trying to do this. Fine. So in Davos, we have seen this kind of activities also. So we have to discuss federalism, and we are discussing federalism how? By taking the evolution of federalism into picture, and then we will conclude cooperative federalism is there or not. And what we are going to conclude, cooperative federalism is a reality, but it is a reality only when India has certain kind of political setup. And during its course, federalism has witnessed multiple changes, and that's why you will give a balanced opinion on cooperative federalism. So this is second approach to write. Can we write this particular topic, cooperative federalism, a myth or reality, from our first approach? Yes, obviously we can write. आप cooperative federalism के political dimension को discuss करना चालू कर दो. बहुत सारा politics जैसे हमने आपको discuss किया. You discuss history of federalism. So history will start from Britain, fine, to now. You can discuss social dimension of federalism. How come social dimensions? So some of the states which are स्मॉलर स्टेट्स, फाइन, स्मॉलर स्टेट्स का बार्गेनिंग पावर बहुत कम होता है, या फिर ऐसे स्टेट्स जहां पर बहुत डाइवर्जेंट ग्रुप्स हैं, सोशल ग्रुप्स हैं, उनका बार्गेनिंग पावर भी क्या हो जाता है? कम हो जाता है. इंटरनेशनल डायमेंशंस आल्सो वी कैन डिस्कस. ऑलराइट, हाउ कम इंटरनेशनल? सम स्टेट्स दे इवन ट्राई टू हैव अ काइंड ऑफ रिलेशनशिप विथ other countries, like Devendra Fadnavis of Maharashtra. He went and he met many country leaders in Davos events, and many events are there. Fine. So cooperative federalism, myth or reality, we can write this essay from the first approach also and from this approach also. So till now we have discussed two approaches. We are going to discuss next approaches in our next class. Thank you.